Tuesday morning, good morning. Coming up, it's the royal biography that continues to make global headlines. In his first UK TV interview, the author of Finding Freedom talks exclusively to us. Also, Penny Lancaster tells me about starting the menopause in lockdown and how it tested her relationship with Sir Rod. Inspired by ABBA, Swedish pop princess Zara Larsson is here too. OK, so we made it to show 2. Welcome. Now, first of all today, 700,000 children in Scotland will return to school this morning. Dr Amir joins me now. Dr Amir, good morning. From your garden again.
Yes, I'm back.
Yes. So tell me about it. I mean, it's going to be a big day for all these kids, isn't it?
It is, yes. So school's going to feel very different for children returning back in Scotland today. Start and finish times will be staggered. Lunch hours will be staggered as well. Class sizes will be smaller. They'll be making use of gyms and dining halls to spread the children out. One-way corridors, frequent hand-washing stations dotted around, no assemblies, PE outside, lots and lots of changes. Now, primary school children are not expected to socially distance. I think that's a bit much to expect. However, secondary school children are expected to keep their distance, so no hugging and high fives, which are the kind of things that children like to do when they haven't seen each other for a long time. Teachers are expected to keep 2 metres apart from students. Face masks are not mandatory. However, where a teacher cannot keep 2 metres apart for 15 minutes or more with a pupil, they should wear a face covering.
What about
Nicola Sturgeon? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No. You carry on. You carry on.
Okay. Nicola Sturgeon wants all pupils to return back to school from the 11th of August, including those in Aberdeen, where we saw local restrictions. 90% of teachers have been surveyed and said they feel anxious about going back to school and returning to teaching. I think that's a perfectly normal emotion. More worryingly, the front page of the Times, or there's an article in the Times today that has analysed the data and suggests that actually, even though COVID-19 is a silent infection in children, older children in particular play a part in transmitting the virus and can behave like small adults when it comes to passing the virus on to others. So that's something to look at in a bit more detail when we get more data. The iPaper has said that 2/3 of parents are anxious about sending their children back to school. And again, I think that's a perfectly normal emotion. Meanwhile, Boris Johnson has been visiting schools and the advice is clear. If you have symptoms, be it an adult or a child, you should self-isolate. You mustn't go to school or drop your child off at school. Get tested and isolate for the 10 or 14 days, depending on what your symptoms are or not doing.
There'll be a lot of parents who are a little bit anxious, actually, Amir, won't there? Is there anything that parents can do ahead of, getting their kids ready to return to school?
Yeah, I think it's perfectly normal to be anxious. I remember at the start of this pandemic when I was going off to what we call red hubs to see patients with temperatures and coughs, and I had terrible anxiety. I spoke to my colleagues about it, I spoke to my friends and my family about it, and that really helped. And I was nervous the first day and the second day, but I got used to it thereafter. So I think it's really important that you talk to them. Adults should talk to other adults, teachers should talk to other adults. You mustn't, as an adult, project your anxiety onto your children, but talk to your children about what they're worried about. Tell them what measures have been put into school to keep them safe. Tell them it is normal to feel anxious like this. And if anxiety is really getting the better of them, speak to a healthcare professional.
OK, Amir, thank you so much, and sound advice as usual. See you later in the week. Take care and have a lovely day.
Bye-bye.
Right, my next guest is one half of one of the happiest marriages in rock music. She's also a very outspoken loose woman.
She's been living it up in lockdown. It has to be Penny Lancaster! And what about the whole homeschooling thing? How's that been?
Oh my God!
When we talk about chivalry, we do tend to talk about men.
It's about just caring and paying attention and respecting one another. We'd even considered adopting, but the little ones, they said they love our little brew the way it is. So we're getting a puppy instead.
And Penny Lancaster joins me now from her home. Good morning, Penny.
Good morning, Andy. You look amazing.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Oh, my goodness, thank you very much. As do you. You look spectacular. And, of course, this is the first time I've been into yours and Rod's house, so I just need to go full frame and have a quick look around your living room. Oh, lovely pictures.
I realised how tidy my desk is.
Oh, yeah, but I do like those picture plate frames. Very, like, Queen's Jubilee. Love those. Fantastic. Look, you've been in lockdown like most of us, but lockdown for you was particularly difficult, wasn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say that, Andy. I said we've actually been the lucky ones. We had the first month down in Florida with 2 of Rod's older children and our 2, and then we flew back to England, but with another 2 of the children. So we've got good quality family time. The only strange thing was, for 1 minute, I thought I was coming down with the virus because my temperature was soaring through the roof. But then I realised it was menopause.
And that's what I was alluding to. I was trying to do it in a very discreet way. First time I've had to talk about the menopause on television was just, you know, feeling my ground. But how was it and how are you at the moment?
I'm actually coping all right. I think lots of conversations with other women, talking to a doctor and just sort of understanding it. There's so many black areas with the menopause. And like you said, you were very unsure about it. There's many men that haven't got a clue. So the more you can talk about it, the more easy it is to understand the problems that come along with it.
I mean, as I said, you know, you are on Loose Women, and that's one of those shows where people possibly overshare. Was it important for you to talk about it, to help yourself?
Absolutely. I love the platform of Loose Women. There's so many wonderful feedbacks we get from the general public saying how much it's helped them to hear that someone else going through the same thing. So I think it's really important, woman to woman, to kind of share those experiences and help men along the way too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're absolutely right, because I've learnt more about it in the last 24 hours. So actually, you're right. By sharing, we all get to know a little bit more. You're also, I mean, you're so busy. You've been doing a lot of work with the British Heart Foundation as well, haven't you?
Yes. My brother and I, way back when we were kids, we used to swim and raise money for the British Heart Foundation. And one horrible day, we were burgled and they took all the money that we'd raised. So it's kind of been kind of stuck with us, the British Heart Foundation. And then more recently, my father sadly had a heart attack, but he's recovered and all well. And my mum had a stroke a year ago and she's recovered, thank God. But it sort of got me more involved in the foundation, and they've got a new free post donation service, which they asked if I would kindly talk about. So I did a little video on my Instagram and I demonstrated how easy it was to collect your items that you no longer want, and those loved, treasured items that maybe don't fit, like my dress there, and send them in a box with a label that you can print off, and it's posted for free from one of your local drop-off points. So it's really, really easy, and it does go towards helping the British Heart Foundation save many more lives.
And are they going to auction them off? I mean, have you sort of done a route around your wardrobe and a route around Rod's as well?
I gathered some really, really kind of more high-end items, and because it's going to the eBay British Heart Foundation site, so they will be auctioned off. We often give things to local high street charity shops, but of course this way you're going to be able to raise a lot more funds. So hopefully it'll be going live soon.
Which is fantastic. Has Rod donated anything? I've got this vision that he's watching now in another room, just thinking, let's just have a look around what she's doing. Is he watching?
He probably is watching, and I can hear the dog scraping on the door to come in. When he saw me collecting my items, he said, oh, I want to get involved. So he got one of his tour programmes, he got some CDs and a book, I believe, and he's personally signed them. So that's part of the package too.
Oh, amazing. Well, look, I hope you managed to raise a lot of money and help this charity, which is obviously very close to your heart. Something else which has become a passion of yours was born off the back of a TV show that you did with Channel 4. So that was Famous and Fighting Crime. Tell me a bit about the TV series first.
OK, well, the opportunity came along for me to have an experience and get involved in part of the community that I would never have otherwise seen or had the experience of. So it was working as a police officer volunteer in Peterborough, which was a real shock to the system, but I just loved every second of it. And just like the police officers I spoke to, they said the reason they got into the job in the first place is because they wanted to make a difference. And I really did feel like I made a difference every day. I mean, as we've mentioned, I do get involved in many charities, but you'll often find that you're on the outskirts and there's, you know, you're never doing enough. But with something like working in the community as an officer, you come in contact with, I would say, 80% of the time with victims of crime. And I feel that I could offer a lot of comfort and reassurance to the victims, as well as dealing